Hi everyone, so this video is going to be my end of October updates, and I'm going to start in my tent area. So this is my Bulbophyllum pectinatum, and as you can probably tell, I finally got some tree fern board. So yesterday I mounted it on here, and I've put some of its old rock wool around it just to keep more humidity closer and like around the plant. This is the first time I've used tree fern, and it's quite dusty, but it's really easy to cut with scissors. Or what I did was I used the scissors like a knife and just scored where I wanted to cut it and then just broke it off. I gave it a soak yesterday before mounting it, and it's still pretty damp, so I think that will be really good for this plant. As for the plant itself, I had a new growth on this side, but it didn't make it, so that's too bad, but I think it'll be, well, I'm hoping it'll be better on this tree fern. And this is my Paphinia rugosa, and as you can probably tell, I've completely unpotted it, and that's because two of the pseudobulbs were rotting, proper rotting with mold and stuff, so I decided to divide it. Let me show you actually. So basically one of the pseudobulbs had a new growth, so I decided to just take this and put it in this cup. So it's not sitting in water, it's just on the lava rocks for humidity, and I have the plastic to keep the humidity in. So we'll see if anything will happen with that new growth. So this one is Bulbophyllum ayuthayense, and last time I showed that it started this growth and it's doing pretty well. There was another one on the top here, but I think that just gave up. So far only one new growth so far, and seems to be doing pretty okay on the kulog. And this is my Bulbophyllum Princess Bejaratana, and it's pushed out this growth, and there's another one over there, but it hasn't really done much yet. And this is my little Cattleya seedling. Don't remember the name off the top of my head, but it's doing pretty good so far on this mount. It's pushed out a new leaf. And this is my Dendrobium lowii seedling. And this growth in the back there, it's starting to look pretty chunky, which is good. So I'm happy about that. And this is Rudolfiela saxicola, and it's pushed out this new growth on the left here. And this is my Dendrobium schrautii, and I did have it in lava rock, but I decided to unpot it and put it like this because it has two new growths, and one of the growths had pushed out roots, but just aborted the roots today that I noticed. The other new growth, I noticed it had one new root coming, so I was a little concerned that it would also just abort. So what I did was I just put it in this container with some water. The plant itself is not really in the water, maybe like the roots, and I have this plastic bag just for just to keep it humid, and I'm hoping that will encourage the root growth, and once I see more established roots, then I'll put it back in the pot. And this is my Dendrobium virgineum, and before I said that I wasn't sure if it's doing well or not because the pseudobulbs are quite yellow, but on this one it started to push out several bumps. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure if that will lead to anything, but it was surprising to see that it pushed out those bumps. I think there's one on this one too, but I'm not really sure. There's nothing on these other canes, so if this blooms, I'll be super happy. So this is my Dendrobium draconis. So previously I said I had put this outside just to give it cooler temperatures, but I noticed that the leaves were yellow and it looked like the plant was getting worse, so I've since kept it indoors, and I mean it's been the same. So I think next time I won't keep it outside. At least, I mean it says minimum 9, but I don't think it can go quite that low. Actually, I noticed it wasn't even 9 degrees yet. It's been in the double digits still. So I don't think it can go like super low. I think I brought it in when it was like around 12 degrees. So maybe 15, 16 is like a better bet for it, but next time I won't put it outside. And this is my Paraphalaenopsis laycockii seedling, the last one. There was another one attached to this, but that just eroded, or it had pretty bad fungal issues. This one looks pretty bad, but I think it might survive, so that's why I'm keeping it around. And this is my Ctsm gladiatorium crossed with barbatum, and it's pushing out another spike, so it's really good. And this is my Cloecia amazonica, and it's doing pretty well. I think it's a bit off season, so I think in November I'm gonna try to force it to go to sleep. And this is my Galeandra baueri, and it's pushing out more flowers, which is pretty awesome. It's done super good for me this year, so I'm pretty happy about that. And this is my RLC Durigan. So the growth on this was driving me a bit crazy, so I actually divided it, and I've repotted this half into this pot. There's a new growth starting there, so I'm really hoping that that will grow upwards. You can see on this side there was actually a growth in the pot that went into the pot this way that I didn't even notice. So I mean, I've broken off the leaves just because, like, there's the only way I can get this into the pot. I'm hoping moving forward that this plant will grow in a way that won't drive me crazy. And this is the other half of RLC Durigan. I have it in this kind of like humidity chamber thing with some water at the bottom. Even though it's touching the roots, it's not touching the plant itself. So it's good. I haven't seen any eyes on any of the pseudobulbs, so I'm not sure if this will result in anything, but if this starts growing, then I'm going to pot it up and then give it away. And this is my Cattleya dormaniana. It has 2 new growths on this side, and there's also one starting on the other side as well. It's kind of growing in 2 directions at once, so trying to center this so that the growths are more even, but we'll see how that turns out. I think compared to this one, even though it's not directly under the light, it tends to grow more straight up. So, and this one is Bulbophyllum and. So I decided to also mount this one on tree fern because it was climbing out of the pot, and since I had the tree fern, I figured why not. So this is what I have so far. Kind of similar to the pectinatum, I have the rock wool around the plant itself. Because this has quite an extensive root system, the roots are kind of just on top of the tree fern, and then with the rock wool on top. There's a new growth here. It's a little floppy. And there's also one on this side. So I'm hoping it'll really just take over the tree fern. And these are 2 of my Vanda leucostele seedlings. They still look pretty bad, but they're surviving, so I'm just keeping them around for now. And this is my Aeridocentrum Gewgaw. I am heavily considering just chucking this plant. Probably next year, we'll see. But compared to other plants I've had for a similar amount of time, even though they haven't bloomed, I feel like the growth has been a lot better, whereas this one is... I'll need to review my old videos, but I feel like this hasn't done as much, and if it's gonna be so slow and not do much, I'd rather just like chuck it at this point. So that's like something that's on my mind. And this is my Paph emersonii, and I noticed yesterday that this is happening to the bottom leaf, which does not look good. I know, it might be a fungal. I mean, I've said this so many times, I have a fungal issue in kind of my grow space. So it might be that, but I probably need to get rid of that leaf. And this is my Phragmipedium Eva. I think last time I complained that these growths were too pale. I noticed that it's starting to darken up a little bit, so I think that's a good sign. Same with this one. And last but not least, this is my Dendrobium moschatum pink. It had 2 growths, but the other one fizzled out, but this one is doing super good. You can see how well the roots are growing, so it's super happy. Alrighty, so that's my video for today. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!